Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Said Dan channel. Did Ripple pay millions of dollars to multiple exchanges to have XRP listed? Well, there's some recently revealed court documents in which that is exactly what is alleged. Here's a headline from the Crypto Basic. Ripple CTO reacts as court docs allege Ripple paid 6 exchanges $1 million to $5 million to list XRP. And by the way, that's $1 million to $5 million per exchange. So that would be a lot of money. So this is going to be a really interesting video because, as far as I know, Ripple has never put out any sort of official statement on this topic. But back even when I jumped into crypto in 2017, I remember seeing this stuff throughout 2018. There are all these allegations about Ripple, offering literally millions of dollars, this stuff, to have XRP listed. Well, David Schwartz, a Ripple CTO, co-creator of XRP and the XRP ledger, he, while not confirming or denying, provides some particularly interesting insight, I think you'll agree, including a hypothetical. So I'll just say this at the outset. We're all entitled to our opinion. Here's mine in a nutshell. Even just at the outset, we'll kind of flesh stuff out as we go through the video, though. If Ripple paid any amount of money to have XRP listed on exchanges, I personally do not give a damn. I could not possibly care less. I don't think that's bad. I don't think it's shady. And I'll tell you this. I've been a small business owner for over 13 years now. And there have been a number of instances where I've financially incentivized potential customers to leave my competitor and come on over to me. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it even means that, in order to even get to a point where you're, positive, not just cash flow positive, but just being positive, like positive in general. If you look at margin, even to get that to a point where there's some sort of margin, you offer something that's enticing. You just do. There's nothing wrong with doing it. And so this idea that it's shady if Ripple does what businesses do in every single industry the world over, like I don't buy it. It doesn't make sense to me. So I personally reject that. But all that being said, I would not be surprised if it is the case that Ripple paid something, at least to some exchanges, to be. So again, I'm not making an assertion they did or did. I do not know. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, and if I had to guess, I guess I'd probably just say yes. Well, why wouldn't you? We already know that Ripple has financially incentivized other stuff, and I have no problem with that either, including back when they were doing programmatic sales of XRP. They would offer sweetheart deals for volume purchases of XRP with stipulations like you have to have it locked up for a period of time, maybe it's a year, whatever it may be. And some people were bashing Ripple for that, and I said, well, I don't think that makes logical sense, especially when you can factor in, like, even if you get like a quote unquote sweetheart deal, you get a purchase XRP below the spot price. Well, if you're holding it for a year, isn't that a substantial risk anyway? So it's not like some of these firms presumably would have been underwater, compared to where they purchased it at, even with a sweetheart deal if you go fast forward a year later. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. And by the way, this topic, this isn't the first time it's come up. In fact, recently it came up. I can't remember if I mentioned it on my channel or not. It's been about a month now, but here you see May 16th, 2023, David Schwartz wrote on Twitter, "The story of Coinbase listing XRP is the only story I most wish I could tell that I can't. And I would love to know." I certainly would. So into the first piece here, though. Recently released court documents in the Ripple v. SEC case allege that Ripple paid 6 exchanges $1 million to $5 million to have the platforms list XRP. David Schwartz, Ripple's CTO, has responded to these claims, seeking to provide clarification on the matter. Schwartz's clarification came on the back of a thread from Scam Detective, an anonymous self-acclaimed sleuth. All right, so a couple of things here. The Scam Detective guy, I have blocked him on Twitter. So back in the day, whenever it was, I can't remember if it was a year ago, time blurs together. But back when I was conversing with him, I actually was having debates back and forth. And what I found is that he was not operating in good faith. So I'm happy to debate people I enjoy it. I actually think a little intellectual jousting is fun. I legitimately enjoy debates, as long as it's civil and that. Well, this particular individual, look, he's entitled to his opinion, but he's not entitled to his own set of facts here. So I noticed that he would just insist things that were provably not true at times. I can't remember the examples off the top of my head, but I remember having that impression. And even more offensive is he'd state things, like he'd share actual facts from documents, but then he'd twist it and interpret it in a way that he must have known wasn't true. And so it got tiresome. And eventually, once I realized I gave him a bunch of chances, but then eventually there came a day where I realized I'm not communicating with somebody who's operating in good faith like I am. It's because to me it just seemed like here's the end goal that he wants. He will argue whatever he has to argue to get to that end goal and try and convince people of that. Where for me it's just like I just want to believe as many true things in life as possible. So I'll just acknowledge if there's something, and then because I'm not trying to have a particular outcome other than whatever the truth is. So it's a completely different approach. And I'm going to give you an example right here because it leads into the comments where David Schwartz jumps in here. And so this guy, I ultimately muted him, but then I ultimately, at some period of time after that, I did block him because there was a community member who was considered quite respected who claimed to have had proof that this guy, not only was he putting out the nonsense that he's putting out, that's one thing, but he's also allegedly hijacking the identity of somebody else. So I don't know if that's true, but I was like, okay, that's enough. I'm just blocking the guy. I don't want this guy in my life, but here we are talking about a consequential topic. It's in crypto media, so now I feel like I'm forced to even bring this guy up on my channel, even though I am not a fan in the least. And I block almost no one, by the way. I block almost zero. You can get away with a lot, if you're communicating with me on Twitter. But I got to draw the line somewhere. So anyway, though, this guy, he was highlighting a document that was written by a law firm, apparently for Grayscale, which runs the Bitcoin, Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. They used to have an XRP trust, but that was dissolved in early 2021 after the SEC v. Ripple lawsuit was launched. And this document, part of what it stated, and I'll be brief just for the sake of time, I just want to make sure you guys have the parts that are most crucial so that we can move forward with this conversation further. But part of the analysis from this law firm that was provided to Grayscale and whether or not, basically the legal status of XRP, they wrote the following. And by the way, this was April 8th, 2019. They wrote, further, as far as we have been able to determine, Ripple Labs did not arrange for immediate secondary market trading of XRP outside the Ripple network in a way that would suggest that it was being sold as an investment. And so here's the thing. They didn't say that Ripple never, paid to have XRP listed. Again, look at the words, and he has to know what he's doing here. He's trying to deceive people. This is the type of crap I'd always see from this guy, which really grinds my gears, which is why I do not regret muting and then blocking this guy. Again, let me read that part one more time. As far as we have been able to determine, Ripple Labs did not arrange for immediate secondary market trading of XRP outside the Ripple network in a way that would suggest that it was being sold as an investment. So again, they're not saying that they determined that Ripple Labs did not arrange for immediate secondary market trading of XRP outside of the Ripple network. They're saying that it wasn't done in a way that would suggest that it was being sold as an investment. That's different. And so he's ignoring the end of that sentence. It has to be intentional because I see this crap from him, this tactic, time and time again. I don't think that he's so stupid that he doesn't know what he's doing. I really don't. So he's hoping that you won't catch that. That's what he's doing. He's hoping that the average passerby quickly reading through a thread, not going to catch that, and then you just believe that this guy called Scam Detective is bringing the truth to you, which he absolutely is not. That is not how this guy operates. And so he wrote was sharing that screen grabber. He said, one of the main reasons they gave for XRP not being promoted as an investment of money was Ripple not arranging for secondary market trading of XRP, which would suggest that it was being sold as an investment by the law firm's own admission. No, that's not what they said. That is absolutely, it's on the screen right there, but he's pretending like you're so stupid you won't figure that. He's just counting on you quickly reading it and then not picking it apart. That's what he's counting on. And then he says, he shares separately here, we now know from the lawsuit that in fact, and he wrote fact in all capital letters, Ripple did arrange for 6 exchanges to list XRP, paying between $1 million to $5 million in 2017. This was before the law firm wrote this opinion, but they did know about this since it was not public information. And then he shared this. So this has been written by the SEC, right? Back in 2022. And look at what's highlighted here. In 2017 alone, Ripple entered into 6 agreements with platforms and also offered 2 US-based crypto trading platforms $1 million and $5 million, respectively, to list XRP. Ripple targeted one particular US-based trading platform, Coinbase, for years to increase speculative trading volume in XRP, engaged in an online campaign to petition that platform to list XRP. Ripple noted internally that investors are interested in exchange listings because they want to see a price increase by getting XRP more exposed on major exchanges. So there you go. So that's the assertion from the SEC. What did Scam Detective write, though? He wrote that it's fact. So the SEC makes an allegation, and the allegation is not proven. It's an allegation, and he says it's on your screen right there, capital letters, it's fact. That doesn't sound intellectually honest to me, does it to you? Do you see why I blocked this guy? It's exhausting. So I just eventually was like, no, I've had enough. If I'm operating, I'm happy to disagree with people on any number of intellectual topics. Happy to. That's fine. As long as they're operating in good faith, if we don't come to the same conclusion and we have the same set of facts and we acknowledge and agree on the same set of facts, they're true, fine. I don't care. That is not what this guy is doing here, though. So David Schwartz just jumped into this, and I'm glad that he did, because this perspective is going to be very interesting to you, so hang with me. So he responds to Scam Detective, David Schwartz does, and he says, sorry, are you saying that if the SEC alleges something in a lawsuit, we then know it is as a fact? And Scam Detective wrote back to David Schwartz and said, where did I say that? There is a fact-finding process which happens as part of a case, as did here. Are you implying something here is not factual? So look, he's playing dumb again. He's playing dumb yet again, except for he's doing it with David Schwartz this time. Now, David Schwartz shared the tweet, which I already showed you, in which he did write that the allegations of the SEC, again on your screen, are fact. Not just allegations, but fact. And again, right here, where did I say that? It's on the screen. It's on the screen. Time and time again. It's not one little oops-a-doodle here or there. It's a process with this guy. Again and again and again and again. Can you tell it grinds my gears? Burns my biscuits, all that? Oh, I could use less of this guy in my life, which is the reason I blocked him. So David Schwartz wrote, this tweet misrepresents allegations as facts. Absolutely. Schwartz is correct. Hold on, I have to hit view here because I have this account blocked. So then scams are bad, wrote to David Schwartz and said, and he didn't acknowledge the fault because he doesn't do that. He doesn't acknowledge fault. He responded to him and he said, just to clarify, you are saying Ripple, in fact, did not pay 6 exchanges to list XRP, including 2 US exchanges, a $1 and $5 million payment. Whoa. Scam Detective, do you see how he's twisting stuff again? David Schwartz did not say that. He just pointed out that you asserted an allegation as a fact. He did not say anything of the sort. And you're just to clarify. Clarify. He didn't say anything even close to that, and you're using the word clarify? This guy, the bane of my existence. It's awful. My life is so much happier without this guy. So I allowed it on the channel here because, again, it's on Crypto Media. People are discussing it, including David Schwartz. And David Schwartz provided some really interesting stuff here, which is why it's worth it to just painfully go through this, but I do not enjoy it. David Schwartz responded, I enjoy this stuff from David Schwartz, just not the scams are bad guy, the Scam Detective. David Schwartz says, I'm saying that characterization is an allegation and the facts are complicated. Exactly. And anybody with half a brain would know that, but he's just pushing and he's being intellectually dishonest. Then David Schwartz says, and this is where it gets very, very interesting. Check this out. David Schwartz says, let me give you a completely made-up hypothetical. It's not based on actual facts, but it's just to give you the idea. Say there was an exchange that contacted Ripple and demanded $1 million to list XRP. We explain that they have their own business reasons. They refuse. Then, a few months later, we discover a payout provider working with that exchange that can do last mile for international payments into their local currency. We talk to the exchange. They agree to become an ODL endpoint, which requires them to list XRP. we make a $1 million payment to cover the extra ODL and payment last mile integration costs, but, of course, they must list XRP for ODL to work. This could be alleged to be us paying in exchange $1 million to list XRP, but the facts are complicated. Generally, a litigation adversary will put the worst spin that is not inconsistent with the facts in their allegations. Repeating them as if the allegations were facts is not fair. Spot on, exactly. And it does seem like that, doesn't it? That's why this scam detective guy. Ooh. And then David Schwartz wrote the following. It's right here. Yeah, here we go. David Schwartz wrote, "This could, again, hypothetically, be a new ODL country, currency, and multiple corridors that Ripple might value in the 10 of millions. A one-time $1 million payment to build the corridor and get a new major ODL partner is a rounding error. And Ripple was always clear that we would build ODL corridors. Again, this is just a hypothetical to show how an allegation can be based on facts, but still, at least in my opinion, it'd be absurd to treat the allegation as fact." Yeah, so there's all sorts of additional circumstances there. I mean, especially since we're already parsing out the differences between programmatic sales versus ODL sales. With programmatic sales, as far as I can tell, just being any Ripple sale of XRP that is not for on-demand liquidity. So if they're doing it to build out on-demand liquidity corridors, are they still the... So if you're one of the people out there listening, and it's fine if you disagree with me, I don't mind. So if you think it's bad that Ripple would pay any exchange to list XRP, does this sway you at all? If there's an instance where it was to build out ODL, which is for actual utility, do you still feel that way? I mean, I don't feel that way either way, and however you feel, that's perfectly fine. I just don't like this nonsense from the scam detective. And so then he responds, though, to David Schwartz and says, "Okay, I got what you are saying." Actually, let me go back. I want to make sure I don't mess this thread up. He says, okay, I got what you were saying. It's not that Ripple didn't make these $1 million payments for listing. It's that you feel it was taken out of context and the conclusions drawn from it are not correct." And you can see the way he worded that. He's trying to put it in a light, especially looking for an opportunity, even if it's not what David Schwartz intended to convey, to just hoping that David Schwartz will word something in such a way that people reading through the thread will think that he does mean that it's a confirmation that Ripple paid millions of dollars, when there is no confirmation of that today. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but you can see he's twisting it again there. This is just what he does. It's exhausting. David Schwartz responded, "A good lawyer writing a complaint puts only facts favorable to his position and portrays them the way least favorable to their opponent's position, even if that's not what they believe. This gives them a stronger position on summary judgment, and they can deal with nuance later." Yeah, exactly. And so it looks like that's perhaps what the SEC was doing there. So even if you take at face value what was asserted about those transactions, well, there could be additional details that we're unaware of, where even if you don't like it on the surface, if you're aware of the additional details, maybe that does change your mind. And we're not privy to that. And so what David Schwartz is asserting here is absolutely true in terms of behavior from lawyers. Again, he says, "A good lawyer writing a complaint puts only facts favorable to his position and portrays them the way least favorable to their opponent's position, even if that's not what they believe." Spot on. And so then on top of the SEC alleging what they're alleging, you have scam detective here twisting things in a way that you would expect the SEC to. There it is. So everyone's entitled to their opinion. You guys tell me what you think. But on this topic of, did Ripple pay the millions of dollars? I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it's true, and I don't care either way. It doesn't make me think less of them. I don't think it's bad. I think it's a reasonable thing for a business to do, especially a younger business, especially at that time. Like Ripple trying to build out a brand new infrastructure for something that never existed before, because until recently the technology didn't exist to even make that possible. And to put some money out to try and get it out. This is so normal when it comes to the adoption of all sorts of things in life, especially if it's a technology thing. And it's bad because Ripple's doing it? Give me a break. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, family sedan.